I'm going to start this story with a sentence that I never thought I'd have to say out loud. My fiancée of 4 years broke up with me because my energetic frequency was blocking her quantum abundance. Yes, that's right. Also, and this is a direct quote, I smell like 3D reality. If you're wondering what smelling like 3D reality means, let me explain. It means I smell like diesel fuel, hydraulic grease, and hard work. Hard work has a smell, and apparently it is not a fancy one. I'm Jack. I'm 30 years old, and I work in waste management. To the average person walking down the street, I'm the guy hanging off the back of a garbage truck at 5 a.m., tossing black bags into a compactor while wearing a neon yellow vest that screams blue collar. To my ex-girlfriend, Elena, 26, I was an embarrassment. I was a placeholder. I was the guy she hid from her Instagram stories because my Carhartt jacket didn't match her aesthetic. But here is the little detail Elena never quite grasped, mostly because she was too busy manifesting her destiny to look at a bank statement. I don't just drive the trucks, I own the trucks. I own the fleet. I owned the landfill. I owned the recycling processing center 3 towns over. My father started the business with one rusted pickup, and when he passed, I took it over and turned it into an empire. I make more in a month handling the city's filth than her new guru boyfriend makes in a year scamming people on the internet. But I never told her the full number. I wanted to be loved for me, not for my net worth. Call it a romantic mistake. Call it a test. Well, spoiler alert, she failed the test spectacularly. The descent into madness. Let's rewind 6 months. Elena wasn't always like this. When we met, she was a receptionist at a dental office. She was funny, grounded, and loved pizza and bad horror movies. We were happy. I paid the rent. I paid for the groceries, and I paid for her student loans because I wanted to build a life together. Then she got a new job. She was hired as an executive assistant at a company called Ascendancy Global. Sounds fancy, right? That's the point. It was a lifestyle coaching firm run by a man named Julian. Julian is, how do I describe him without getting demonetized? Imagine if a crypto bro and a horoscope app had a baby, and that baby was raised by a Wolf of Wall Street who failed math class. That is Julian. The guy is 35, wears sunglasses inside buildings, leases a Lamborghini that he terrified to drive over 40 miles an hour, and refers to himself in the third person as an apex manifester. Within 2 weeks of working for Julian, Elena changed. The pizza night stopped. Gluten lowers your vibration, Jack, she told me, throwing out a perfectly good pepperoni slice. The horror movies stopped. We need to protect our subconscious from fear-based programming. And the gratitude stopped. Suddenly, everything I did was low value. I'd come home after a 12-hour shift, maybe a hydraulic line burst on truck number 4, and I had to fix it myself because I'm a hands-on owner. So yeah, I'd have grease on my hands, I'd be tired, I'd walk through the door looking for a hug or a, hey babe, how was work? Instead, I'd find Elena sitting in the middle of the living room, surrounded by $400 worth of crystals I paid for, meditating to the sound of whale noises. She'd open one eye, look at my dirty boots, and sigh. Jack, she'd say, her voice dripping with condescension, you're bringing heavy energy into the sanctuary. Can you please shower before you even look at me? You're disrupting my alignment. The investment. The real problem started when she began asking for money. Not for rent, I was already paying that. Not for food, I paid that too. She needed money for self-actualization. One night, over a dinner of kale and sadness, she dropped the bomb. Julian is launching a new mastermind course, she said, her eyes shining with that cult-like glaze. It's called The Quantum Leap. It's usually $10,000, but because I'm part of the inner circle, he's letting me in for $5. I choked on my water. 500? 5,000, Jack. she said, rolling her eyes. "It's an investment. He's going to teach us how to bend reality to our will." I put my fork down. "Elena, that's $5,000 for a weekend seminar? What exactly does he teach? How to fly?" "He teaches us to break free from the matrix. God, you just don't get it. You have such a scarcity mindset. This is why you're stuck driving trucks while Julian is changing the world." I bit my tongue so hard I almost tasted blood. "I'm not stuck, Elena," I said calmly. "I run a business, a real business that handles real problems. Julian sells PDS telling people to wake up at 4 a.m. He is a visionary," she screamed. "And if you loved me, you'd support my growth. Or do you want me to be a receptionist forever? Do you want me to be small?" That was the hook. She knew how to manipulate me. She knew I wanted her to succeed. So, like an idiot, I wrote the check. I handed her $5,000 of hard-earned money made from hauling trash in the freezing rain, so she could give it to a guy wearing a suit that was too tight to learn how to breathe money. Enter the villain. A week later, I met Julian for the first time. Elena insisted I pick her up from the office because her car, which I leased for her, was in the shop. I pulled up in my Ford F-150. It's a 2018, it's a work truck, it has a dent in the bumper and tools in the back. I waited in the parking lot. Elena walked out and Julian was walking her to the car. I got out to be polite. Julian stopped dead in his tracks. He looked at my truck, then he looked at my boots, then he looked at Elena with a smirk that made me want to introduce his teeth to a wrench. "So, this is Jack?" Julian said. He didn't offer a handshake, he just stood there with his hands in his pockets, rocking back and forth on his heels. "Yeah, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you." "Elena talks about you." Julian said. He took off his sunglasses, his eyes were dead, shark eyes. "She says you're a hard worker, very grounded, roots of society, right?" "Someone has to keep the city clean," I said, keeping my voice steady. Julian laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh, it was a pity laugh. True, we need the worker bees to keep the hive running so the kings can make the honey. Right, Elena?" He put his hand on Elena's shoulder, a little too comfortable, a little too possessive, and Elena, she didn't step away, she melted. She looked at him like he was the sun and she was a sunflower. "Right, Julian," she whispered. Then he looked at me again. "Hey, buddy, thanks for loaning her the tuition for the mastermind. Don't worry, once I unlock her potential, she won't need your help anymore. She's going to be buying you things, maybe a new truck, something that doesn't smell like, what is that, rotting cabbage?" He patted my shoulder, wiping his hand on his pants immediately after, and walked away. I stood there, fists clenched. Elena got in the truck and slammed the door. "Why were you so rude to him?" she asked. "Rude?" I stared at her. "He just insulted me to my face, Elena." "He was joking. God, you're so sensitive. Alpha males joke like that. You wouldn't understand because you're a beta provider." A beta provider. That was the moment. That was the moment I should have kicked her out. That was the moment I should have changed the credit cards and changed the locks. But I didn't because I loved who she used to be. And I thought, maybe this is just a phase. Maybe she's just stressed. There was only one person at Ascendancy Global who didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Her name was Sarah. She was the accountant. I'd met her a few times when dropping off lunch. She was the opposite of Elena. She wore glasses, cardigans, and looked constantly exhausted. While Julian was filming TikToks about hustle culture and Elena was meditating in the break room, Sarah was actually doing the taxes, paying the bills, and keeping the lights on. One day, about a week before the end, I bumped into Sarah in the lobby. "Hey, Jack," she said. She looked nervous. She kept glancing at the elevator to make sure Julian wasn't coming. "Hey, Sarah, how's the Empire doing?" I asked sarcastically. She didn't smile. "Check, listen," she whispered, stepping closer. "You seem like a really good guy. You pay for everything for Elena, right?" "Yeah? Why?" "Be careful." Her voice was shaking. I see the numbers, Jack. Julian's cash flow isn't coming from sales. It's coming from new investors paying off old investors. It's messy. And Elena, she's signing things. He promoted her to director of vision or something, and he's making her sign checks. My stomach dropped. What are you saying? I'm saying, Sarah adjusted her glasses, that when this ship goes down, and it will go down, Julian has an exit plan. I don't think Elena does. Get her out, Jack. Before I could ask more, the elevator pinged. Sarah jumped and scurried back to her desk. I tried to warn Elena that night. I told her what Sarah said. Elena laughed in my face. Sarah, she cackled. Sarah's a loser, Jack. She's a bean counter. She has zero vision. Julian told me Sarah is low vibration, and we're gonna fire her soon anyway. I'm the one Julian trusts. I'm his right hand.
Elena, if you're signing checks for a company that's committing fraud, it's not fraud, she screamed, throwing a crystal at the wall. It's quantum finance. You're just like Sarah. You're trying to keep me small because you're afraid that once I ascend, I'll leave you behind. She stormed into the bedroom and slammed the door. I slept on the couch. The next morning, I woke up to a text from her. We need to talk. Meet me at the company gala tonight. Wear a tuxedo, and please, Jack, try to look like you belong to me, not the garbage truck. I didn't know it then, but that gala was going to be the end of my life as I knew it, and the beginning of hers falling apart. The Gala of Kings and the Jester in Velvet. The Transformation. So the text from Elena said, wear a tuxedo. Try not to look like a garbage man. Challenge accepted. Here is the thing about working in waste management. It's dirty, physically demanding work. It builds muscle, real muscle, not the I do Pilates 3 times a week muscle that Julian has. Underneath the grease and the neon vest, I'm in shape. I went home. I took a 40-minute shower. I scrubbed the hydraulic fluid out of my cuticles with a stiff brush until my hands were raw. I shaved, I combed my hair back. Then I went to the garage. Usually, I drive my 2018 Ford F-150. I love that truck. It's loyal, it's tough, and it has never left me stranded in the snow. It's who I am. But tonight was for Elena. She wanted high value, she wanted me to fit into her new world. I still loved her, God help me, and I wanted to make her proud. I walked past the F-150 to the back of the garage, where a gray dust cover sat over a shape that hadn't moved in 6 months. I pulled the cover off. Underneath was my father's pride and joy, a 1967 Jaguar E-Type Roadster. Cherry red, convertible, fully restored. My dad left it to me when he passed. I almost never drive it. It feels too flashy, too fragile. It feels like him. But if there was ever a night to bring out the heavy artillery to impress the women I planned to marry, this was it. I put on my tuxedo, custom Italian wool, not a rental, and slid into the leather driver's seat. The engine roared to life with a sound that makes modern sports cars sound like vacuum cleaners. Arrival. Real versus fake. I pulled up to the venue, a rented ballroom at a downtown hotel. Out front, there was a lime green Lamborghini Huracan parked sideways across 2 spots. Clearly, Julian's lease. It looked desperate. I pulled the Jaguar up to the valet stand. The valet, a kid who looked bored out of his mind, suddenly stood up straight. His eyes popped. "Whoa," the kid said. Is that an original 67? "It is," I said, handing him the keys and a $50 bill. "Keep it close, please. It has sentimental value." "I'll park it right next to the front door, sir. Nobody's touching this." I walked in. I didn't feel like a beta provider. I felt like Bruce Wayne on a night off. The Alpha arrives. When I walked through the double doors, the room actually went quiet for a second. The sea of beige influencers and crypto kings turned to look at me. I saw Elena. She was wearing a gold dress that looked like it cost a fortune, which I paid for. She was laughing at something Julian said. When she saw me, her jaw dropped. For a split second, just a second, I saw the old Elena, the one who used to look at me with love. She looked genuinely impressed. She walked over, eyes scanning me up and down. "Jack," she whispered, you cleaned up." "I know how to use soap, Elena," I said dryly. "You look beautiful." "Thanks," she said, nervously smoothing her dress. Did you take an Uber? I didn't hear your truck rattling outside." "No," I said softly. "I took my dad's car. I know you like it." Her face softened. She knew what that car meant to me. "Jack, that's really sweet. You didn't have to." "I wanted to." But the moment was ruined instantly. "Jack," a voice boomed. Julian appeared. If I looked like classic luxury, Julian looked like a magician who got kicked out of Hogwarts for selling fake potions. He was wearing a crushed velvet purple jacket, loafers with no socks, and tinted glasses, indoors, at night. He walked up to us, holding a glass of whiskey he wasn't drinking, just swirling. "Glad you could make it," Julian said, looking me up and down with a smirk. "Nice tux. Rental. It fits surprisingly well. Usually the sleeves are too long on the rentals." I took a sip of water. "It's not a rental, Julian." Julian laughed. Sure. Ross Dress for Less has some great finds. Listen, glad you could come to witness the ascension. Tonight is big for Elena." He leaned in, smelling of expensive cologne and insecurity. "Just do me a favor, big guy. Don't mingle too much with the platinum Kirkle over there. Those guys are heavy hitters. I don't want you boring them with stories about what is it you do again? Raccoons and dumpsters?" I looked at him. I could have told him about the Jaguar parked outside that was worth more than his life savings. I could have told him about the golf game I had scheduled with the billionaire standing 10 feet away. But I looked at Elena. She looked anxious. She wanted this night to go perfectly. So for her, I bit my tongue. "I'll behave, Julian. I won't get garbage juice on your velvet jacket." The crash. An hour passed. I was leaning against the bar watching this circus. That's when the first crack in the facade appeared. I saw Sarah. She was in the corner near the DJ booth, holding a tablet. She looked like she was about to vomit. Julian was ordering bottle service, huge magnums of champagne with sparklers. The waitresses were parading them out. Sarah marched up to Julian. They were 10 feet away from me. I could hear everything. "Julian, stop," Sarah hissed. "We can't afford this." Julian spun around, his fake smile dropping. "Excuse me? Don't kill the vibe. We are celebrating. The value we'll create today, just wait and see." "Celebrating with money you don't even have yet. Money that you will try to get that is not yours?" Sarah's voice got a little louder. People started to look. "The credit cards are maxed out. The vendor for this venue hasn't been paid. The deposit for the next retreat bounced. You cannot order $5,000 of champagne." The music seemed to stop there in that corner. The platinum Kirkle stopped talking. Elena rushed over. "Sarah, keep your voice down. You're embarrassing us." Sarah looked at Elena, heartbroken. "Elena, wake up. He's spending money that doesn't exist. There is no quantum wealth. Don't you see? It's just debt on top of debt." Julian turned red. His veins were popping out of his neck. The Zen guru mask fell off completely. "You toxic, low-vibration little rat. We gave you time to change your mindset. Some people were just born to be poor. Your attitude shows you will never belong here. I am the only one working. I am the only one keeping you out of jail." Julian laughed, a manic, crazy laugh. "Work? You think typing is work? I am the visionary. I am the one creating value. I create the reality. Look around. You are just a bean counter." He pointed a finger at the door. "You're fired. Get out. Get out of my energy field. I don't want to see your negative face ever again." Sarah stood there, shaking. She looked at Elena. "Elena," she asked softly, "are you going to let him do this? I covered for you last week. I did your reports." Elena looked at Julian. Julian raised an eyebrow, challenging her. Elena took a deep breath, straightened her spine, and looked at Sarah with cold, dead eyes. "Sarah, Julian said, her voice steady. "You're right. You've been holding us back. You don't fit the culture here. Please leave." That corner of the room went silent, though the rest of the party seemed too involved in their enthusiastic little conversations to notice a woman's career dying. Sarah looked at Elena like she had just been stabbed. Then she nodded. She put the tablet on the table. She took off her staff badge and dropped it on the floor. "Fine," Sarah said. "I'll leave. But when the IRS comes knocking, Julian, don't call me. I'm going to be busy being low vibration." She turned and walked out. And then the moment came. Julian jumped on the stage, adrenaline pumping from firing Sarah. The lights dimmed. A spotlight hit him. "Tonight is about evolution," he screamed into the mic. "It's about leaving the old version of yourself behind to embrace the new version." He gestured to Elena. "Come up here, my queen." Elena walked up the stairs. She looked radiant, but I could see her hands shaking. Julian put his arm around her. "Elena has made the shift," Julian told the room. "She has unlocked her new level. But to fully ascend, she has to make a sacrifice. She has to cut the cord to the 3D world." He handed her the microphone. He pointed at me. The spotlight swung around and hit me in the face. I was blinded. "Jack," she said. Her voice echoed through the speakers. I stood there blinking in the light, feeling the weight of the Jaguar keys in my pocket, the car I brought for her. "Jack, you're a good man," she said. It sounded rehearsed. "But you're an anchor. You're heavy. You belong to the earth, and I belong to the stars." The crowd murmured. Some people were filming on their phones. "I can't carry you anymore," she continued. "I am stepping into my power, and my power is with Julian." She looked at Julian, who was nodding like a bobblehead. "I'm sorry, Jack, but we're over. Please go. You don't belong here." The silence was deafening. Everyone was waiting for me to cry or scream or punch Julian. I didn't do any of that. I looked up at the stage. I looked at Elena, the woman I drove my father's car for, the woman I supported for years. I smiled, a sad, knowing smile. I said, "You're right, Elena. I don't belong here." I turned around. "Oh, and Julian," I called out. He looked down, smirking. "Yeah, trash man. Nice jacket. My grandmother has a couch in that same fabric. It's very absorbent." I walked out. Outside, the valet saw me coming. He ran to get the Jaguar. He pulled it up right in front of the glass doors where everyone was watching. The engine purred like a tiger. The chrome sparkled under the hotel lights. I saw Julian's face through the glass window. His jaw dropped. He looked at his leased Lambo, then at my vintage Jaguar. He realized, too late, that trash men don't drive collector's items. But I didn't leave alone. Sitting on the curb, crying into her hands, was Sarah. I rolled down the window. "Hey, low vibration," I said gently. "Get in. This car is way too nice to drive home alone." Sarah looked up, wiped her eyes, and hopped into the passenger seat. I gunned the engine, and we peeled out of there, leaving the kings and queens to their fake champagne and mounting debt. The Jaguar Confession. The interior of a 1967 Jaguar E-Type smells like old leather and gasoline. It's a smell that screams history. Sarah was crying into the passenger seat leather. "I'm ruined. I'm blacklisted. Julian knows everyone in the influencer circle. I'll never get another accounting job. I have rent due in 4 days, Jack. I'm going to have to move back in with my parents in Ohio." I downshifted as we hit the highway, letting the engine roar a little to drown out her panic. "Sarah," I said calmly, "look in the glove box." She snuffled, wiping her nose with her sleeve. "What?" "Open the glove box, grab the blue folder." She opened it. Inside wasn't a registration or insurance card. It was a quarterly profit and loss statement for Red Clay LLC. She pulled it out, squinting in the passing streetlights. "What is this?" she asked. "That," I said, "is the holding company that owns my fleet, the landfill, the recycling center, and about 400 porta potties." She flipped through the pages. Her accountant brain took over. Her crying stopped instantly. "Wait," she murmured. "This net income, this is monthly?" "Yes." "And your overhead on the fleet maintenance is... Wow, that's low. Who manages your depreciation schedule?" "I do. Poorly. On an Excel spreadsheet from 2013. She looked at me, eyes wide. "Jack, you are sitting on a tax nightmare. You're overpaying on capital gains, and you haven't amortized your heavy machinery correctly." I smiled. "I know. That's why I need an operations manager, someone who isn't afraid of low-vibration numbers." "Are you offering me a job?" "I'm offering you a rescue and a raise. Whatever Julian was paying you, I'll double it, plus benefits. And I promise I will never ask you to manifest a tax return." She started crying again, but this time it was relief. "You're serious?" "I'm deadly serious, but I have one rule. You have to call the city tomorrow and cancel Julian's trash pickup service for non-payment." She laughed, a real loud laugh. "Deal." The quantum montage. The next 3 months were a study in contrast. If you looked at Elena's Instagram, she was living the dream. She posted photos of herself boarding a private jet. I zoomed in. It was a grounded plane at a rental studio. The turbine covers were still on. She posted photos of the view from the office. It was a stock photo of the Manhattan skyline. They live in Ohio. She used hashtags like Boss Babe, Quantum Queen, and Ascension. Her captions were word salad about collapsing timelines and birthing new realities. But reality has a funny way of ignoring hashtags. While Elena was birthing realities, Sarah and I were birthing profits. Sarah was a machine. She reorganized my office. She found $40,000 in lost invoices in the first week. We ate burgers at my desk, laughed about the absurdity of the corporate world, and built something real. I started to see the woman Elena used to be reflected in Sarah. Grounded, smart, funny. But Sarah was sharper. She didn't need validation. She just needed a spreadsheet and a purpose. Then the cracks in Julian's empire started to show up in my world. Literal cracks in the form of overflowing dumpsters. Because I own the sanitation contracts for the downtown district, I get reports on delinquent accounts. One morning, a notification popped up on my screen. Ascendancy Global HQ. Service suspended, 90 days past due. I walked over to Sarah's desk. "Hey, boss lady," I said. "Guess who hasn't paid their garbage bill in 3 months?" She smirked. "The Apex Manifester?" "The one and only. The drivers are asking if they should resume service as a courtesy." Sarah tabbed her pen on her chin. "Well, Jack, according to the company handbook you wrote, we don't work for free. It's bad for the economy." "Agreed," I said. "Tell the drivers to skip the building. Let the trash pile up. Maybe Julian can alchemize it into gold." For 2 weeks, we let the garbage rot behind their shiny glass office. I heard rumors that the smell was so bad that it was seeping into the lobby. Clients were walking in to hear about infinite abundance while smelling infinite diaper waste. It was petty. It was childish. It was delicious. The declined card. The climax of the month came on a Tuesday. I had just closed a massive deal with the county, a hazardous waste removal contract worth millions over 5 years. "We are celebrating," I told Sarah. "Steaks, the expensive kind. Put on something nice." We went to the Prime Rib, the swankiest spot in the city. We were laughing, clinking wine glasses, real wine paid for with real money, when the mood shifted. The hostess led a couple to the table right next to us. It was them, Elena and Julian. Elena looked tired. Her glow had gone. Her hair was pulled back tight, and she had dark circles under her eyes covered with thick concealer. She was wearing the same gold dress from the gala, which was odd for a casual Tuesday dinner. Julian was manic. He was sweating. He was talking into his phone via an earpiece loudly. "No, listen to me. The wire is in transit. It's the banking system. They're trying to suppress the crypto transfer. Just hold the car for 24 hours more." They sat down. Elena looked up and locked eyes with Sarah. Sarah didn't flinch. She raised her glass of Cabernet. "Hello, Elena." Elena goes pale. She looked at me, then at Sarah, then at the expensive steak on my plate. "Jack," she breathed. "Sarah, you guys are eating here?" "We're celebrating," I said, cutting a piece of meat. "Business is booming. Trash never sleeps." Julian snapped his finger at the waiter. "Garçon, bottle of your finest sparkling water, and bring me the menu. I'm in a hurry." He ignored us. He pretended we were invisible. The dinner was excruciating. We listened to Julian berate Elena for not vibrating high enough to close the sale. We heard Elena beg him to pay the office rent. "Babe, the landlord is threatening to lock us out," she whispered. "Fear mindset," he hissed. "We manifest the rent. Focus on the outcome, not the obstacle." Then came the check. Our waiter brought the bill to Julian. Julian threw a heavy black metal card onto the tray without looking. "Put a 20% tip. I'm generous." The waiter walked away. 2 minutes later, the waiter came back. He looked uncomfortable. "Sir, the card was declined." Silence. Julian laughed loudly. "Impossible! That's a limitless card. Run it again. Your machine is probably broken. It's a 3D glitch." The waiter sighed. "I ran it 3 times, sir. It says, 'Do not honor.'" Elena put her head in her hands. "Here," Julian said, pulling out another card. "Try the Amex." The waiter left. Came back. "Decline, sir?" Julian stood up. "This is a conspiracy. The banks are freezing my assets because I'm too powerful." People were staring. Elena looked like she wanted to dissolve into the floor. She looked at me. Her eyes were pleading. She knew I had cash. She knew she could save them from the humiliation. I wiped my mouth with the linen napkin. I pulled out a wad of cash, $100 bills, that I keep for walking around money. I counted out enough for my bill and a 50% tip for our waiter. I stood up. "Sarah, ready to go?" "Ready," she said, grabbing her purse. We walked past Julian's table. He was patting his pockets, looking for a third card that didn't exist. Elena grabbed my arm. "Jack, please." I looked down at her hand. "Sorry, Elena," I said softly. "I'd love to help, but paying for your dinner feels like a low vibration. You should probably just manifest the payment." I gently removed her hand from my arm. We walked out. As we reached the valet stand to get the Jaguar, we could hear Julian yelling at the manager that he was going to buy the restaurant and fire everyone. The cliffhanger. We got into the car. The adrenaline was pumping. Sarah pulled out her phone to check the time. She froze. "Jack," she said. Her voice was deadly serious. "What?" "I still have the Google News alert set up for Ascendancy Global." "And?"
She turned the screen to me.
A local news article had just been published 10 minutes ago. Headline: State Attorney General opens investigation into local life coaching firm for multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme. I looked at the restaurant window. I could see Julian waving his arms. "Buckle up, Sarah," I said, putting the car in gear. "The show is just starting."
The autopsy of a crime and the live stream of the apocalypse. After the disaster at the restaurant, I drove Sarah home in the Jaguar. The city lights reflected off the hood, but the mood inside was heavy. I pulled up to her apartment building. It was a modest place. Brick, no doorman, real. "You know," Sarah said, unbuckling her seatbelt, "I need to explain something to you. I don't think you realize how bad this is for her." "For Elena?" I asked. "I mean, debt is bad, but—" "It's not just debt, Jack," Sarah interrupted. Her voice was grave. "When Julian promoted her to CFO, he made her the authorized signatory. Those fraudulent loan applications I refused to sign, the ones claiming the company had $10 million in assets, Elena signed them." I felt a cold knot in my stomach. "So, if the AG is investigating, it means she didn't just break the bank," Sarah said, looking out the window. "She broke federal law. Bank fraud, wire fraud. That's not a slap on the wrist. That's 10 to 15 years. I sat there, gripping the steering wheel. I thought about the girl who used to cry during sad movies. "She doesn't know, does she?" I asked. "No," Sarah said. "She thinks she's playing executive. She has no idea she's the fall guy." "I should feel sorry for her," I muttered. "She chose the title, Jack. Now she has to serve the time." The Matrix attack. The next morning, the circus came to town via 5G. I was in my office, reviewing route maps when Sarah rushed in. "Jack, phone, now." She placed her phone on my desk. Instagram was open. A notification flashed. Ascendancy_Julian is live. I clicked it. It was a train wreck in real time. Julian and Elena were sitting in their office. The lighting was bad. Julian looked like he hadn't slept in 48 hours. His pupils were the size of dinner plates, and he was sweating through his t-shirt. "What is up, kings and queens?" Julian shouted a little too loud. "We are going live to address the haters, the rumors, the noise." He leaned into the camera, shaking slightly. "You might see some news stories today. Fake news. The Matrix is attacking us. Why? Because we are too close to the truth. They don't want you to know that wealth is available to everyone. They had the keys to unlock it now." He looked manic, unhinged. Then he pulled Elena into the frame. She looked terrifyingly calm, wearing a forced smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Tell them, babe," Julian commanded. Elena nodded. "We found out yesterday that we had a breach. We trusted the wrong people, specifically a former employee who handled our accounts." My blood ran cold. "She sabotaged us," Elena lied, looking directly at the camera. "She hid errors. She never told us about the issues. She was jealous of our light, so she tried to dim it. But don't worry, everything is under control." I stood up, knocking my chair over. "I'm going to sue them. I am going to drive over there and sue them for defamation right now." Sarah put a hand on my arm. Her grip was firm. "No," she said. Her voice was ice cold. "Sit down, Jack. Don't interrupt them. They're lying about you." "I know. And they are doing it to 15,000 live witnesses while under federal investigation. This isn't slander, Jack. This is an admission of guilt. I'm screen recording everything." The platinum scam. On the screen, Julian was shifting gears. "But we aren't victims," he screamed. "We are victors. And because we need to expand our legal team to fight the Matrix, we are opening a special one-time only opportunity." He held up a piece of paper with a handwritten Sharpie logo.
the Platinum Immunity Circle. For an investment of $15,000, you get direct access to me and Elena. We will teach you the quantum maritime laws to protect your wealth from the government." 15 grand? I whispered. Who would buy that? Look at the comments, Sarah said. The chat was flying. User 77, "Take my money." Alpha Wolf 99, "Sent." Manifest Queen, "I'm in. Let's defeat the Matrix." They're raising cash, Sarah noted, her eyes narrowing. That's illegal. If they use new money to pay old debts, that's a Ponzi scheme, Sarah finished, and they just documented it live. The call of arrogance. An hour later, my personal cell phone rang. Caller ID, Elena. I put it on speakers so Sarah could hear. "Hello? Did you see it?" Elena's voice was high-pitched, almost euphoric. "Did you see the live?" "I saw it, Elena," I said. "You looked manic." "I looked powerful," she laughed. "We just made $200,000 in 40 minutes, Jack. The universe provides." Julian was right. The haters are just fuel. "Elena," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "you just blamed Sarah for crimes she didn't commit." "I told the truth," she snapped. "Well, Julian's truth. It's the same thing. And tell your little girlfriend that our lawyers are going to destroy her if she speaks to the press." I rubbed my temples. "Elena, listen to me very carefully. You are raising money while under investigation. If you use that money to pay off previous investors or personal debts, that is a Ponzi scheme. That is prison time. You need to stop. Get out now." She laughed. It was a cruel sound. "You're just jealous," she sneered. "You're jealous because I'm a CFO making moves and you're just a garbage man playing dress up in your daddy's car. Enjoy the 3D world. I'm flying above it." Click. She hung up. I sat there staring at the phone. I said, "She's gone. Completely delusional." Sarah didn't answer. She was typing furiously on her laptop. "Jack," she said, "come here." I walked around the desk. I still have view-only access to one of their old operational bank accounts. They forgot to revoke my permissions on this specific portal. "What am I looking at?" I asked, pointing to the screen. "This is the account linked to their payment processor. See these deposits? That's the money from the platinum cult they just sold. $200,000. Okay. So they're going to pay their lawyers? No, Sarah whispered. Look at the outgoing transfer. I looked. Transfer initiated, 10:45 a.m. Recipient, Jade Shell Holdings Ltd. Location, Grand Cayman Islands. Amount, $200,000. Total balance. $200,000. He's not paying the lawyers, Sarah said, looking up at me. He's not paying the rent. He's emptying the accounts. He's running, I realized. He's running, Sarah confirmed. And he just left Elena behind to explain where the money went.
The next morning, Elena walked into the headquarters of Ascendancy Global, feeling like the ruler of the universe. Sure, the landlord had sent a final eviction notice via email at 4 a.m., and sure, the company bank account was technically at zero before the Platinum Circle scam money hit. But Elena didn't care. She was a CFO. She was a creator. She walked into Julian's glass office, ready to plan their legal defense against the Matrix. But the office was empty. Julian's lucky bamboo plant was there. His ring light was there. But his laptop and his collection of sacred crystals was gone. On the desk, there was a handwritten note on expensive cardstock. Elena, my muse, the psychic attack from the haters has disrupted my energy field. I must go into an emergency silence retreat in the mountains to recalibrate my frequency. I will be offline for 48 hours. I am leaving the ship in your capable hands. You are the captain now. Don't let the 3D world bring you down.
J. Elena pressed the note to her chest. "Oh, Julian," she whispered to the empty room. "He trusts me. He's recharging so he can fight for us." She sat in his oversized leather chair. She spun around. She looked out at the few remaining unpaid interns. "Listen up," she announced. "The visionary is in deep meditation. I am in charge today. We need to manifest a new interior decorator because this office energy is stale." The unexpected guests. At 10:15 a.m., the glass doors of the office didn't just open, they were practically thrown off their hinges. Elena looked up, expecting a delivery of green juice. Instead, 6 men and women walked in. They weren't wearing Lululemon. They were wearing navy blue windbreakers with yellow letters on the back. FBI. IRS CI. The interns froze. One of them actually hid under a desk. Elena, however, stood up. She smoothed her dress. She truly believed she could vibe check federal agents. "Excuse me," she said, walking out of the executive suite. "You are bringing a very aggressive energy into this sanctuary. Do you have an appointment?" The lead agent, a woman who looked like she hadn't smiled since 2004, didn't stop walking. "Federal warrant," the agent said, dropping a packet of papers on the reception desk. "We are securing the premises." "This is harassment," she shouted. "We are a spiritual education firm. You are violating our sovereignty." The agent looked at Elena. "Are you Elena Vance?" "Yes, I am," she said, lifting her chin. "I am the chief financial officer." The agent nodded to her partner. "Noted. Suspect confirms she is the CFO." "Suspect?" she scoffed. "I'm not a suspect. I'm a high-value individual." The revelation. "Where is Julian Thorne?" the agent asked, ignoring Elena's title. Elena crossed her arms. "Mr. Thorne is in a sacred silence retreat. He is in the mountains, meditating for the good of humanity. He cannot be disturbed by government bureaucracy." The room went silent. The agents looked at each other. The lead agent let out a dry, short laugh. It wasn't a happy sound. "A silence retreat?" the agent asked. "Yes, he is unreachable." "Ms. Vance," the agent said, pulling out a tablet. "According to Customs and Border Protection, Julian Thorne passed through security at JFK International Airport at 5:30 this morning. He boarded Flight 702 to Panama City." Elena blinked. That's impossible. He hates commercial flights. The energy is too chaotic." "He was in Economy Plus," the agent deadpanned, "and from Panama he has a connecting flight to a jurisdiction with no extradition treaty with the United States." Elena felt the room spin. No, he left me a note. He said he trusts me. He said I'm the captain." "He said you're the captain?" the agent asked. "That's convenient, because the ship is sinking and he took the only lifeboat." The digital fingerprint. Another agent, holding a laptop seized from Sarah's old desk, walked over. "Ms. Vance, we tracked a wire transfer of $200,000 initiated at 10:45 a.m. yesterday. This money was solicited from investors under the guise of a legal defense fund." "Yes," Elena said, her voice trembling, "to pay the lawyers." "The money didn't go to a law firm. It went to a shell company in the Cayman Islands called Jade Shell Holdings. Do you know who owns that company?" "No." "Julian Thorne does. And do you know whose digital signature authorized the transfer?" Elena stared at the screen. There it was. "Authorized by E. Vance, CFO token number 002. I gave him my password," Elena whispered. "He said he needed to update the software." "You gave the CEO access to use your credentials to embezzle funds while you hold the title of CFO," the agent summarized.
Miss Vance, in the eyes of the law, you stole that money." Elena tried to call Julian. She pulled out her phone, shaking so hard she dropped it twice. She dialed. "The number you have reached is no longer in service." He had burned the phone. He had burned the money. And he had burned her.
Across town, in the gritty, unpolished office of Red Clay Waste Management, Sarah and I were working. Sarah's phone pinged. Then mine pinged. "Jack, turn on the TV, Channel 5. I grabbed the remote. There it was, breaking news. The camera showed the front of the shiny office building Elena was so proud of. 2 agents were walking her out. She wasn't wearing handcuffs yet, but they had a firm grip on her arms. She looked small. The arrogance was gone. She was crying, shouting something at the cameras about being manipulated, but the audio just caught the sound of her sobbing. They put her in the back of a black SUV. I watched the woman I had planned to marry being hauled away like a common criminal. I looked at Sarah. I expected her to smile. I expected her to say, "I told you so." But Sarah just sighed and closed her laptop. She really thought he loved her, Sarah said softly. She destroyed her whole life for a guy who swapped her for a window seat to Panama. I turned off the TV. "She wanted a life of no consequences," I said, leaning back in my chair. "But that's the thing about physics, Sarah. Action and reaction. Consequences don't lose the address." The phone call. That night, I stayed late at the office. I couldn't go home. The house felt too quiet. At 11:30 p.m., the landline rang. Nobody calls the landline at night unless a truck has flipped over or landfill is on fire. I picked it up. "Red Clay Waste," I answered. A robotic pre-recorded voice filled my ear. "You have a collect call from a federal detention facility from an inmate named Elena." She sounded like she was hyperventilating. "To accept the charges, press 1. My finger hovered over the button. Part of me, the part that remembered the old Elena, the one that liked pizza and horror movies, wanted to hang up, to let her learn the hard way. But I pressed 1. "Hello?" I said. "Jack?" She sounded like she was hyperventilating. "Jack, oh my God, my parents didn't answer. They blocked my number. Julian is gone." "I know, Elena. It's on the news." "They said I'm looking at 15 years, Jack. Fraud, conspiracy, money laundering. I didn't do it. I just signed the papers. I didn't know." "Ignorance isn't a defense when you're the CFO, Elena." "Please," she begged. "I have no money. Julian took it all. I need a lawyer, a real one, not a public defender. You're the only person I know who has resources." I sat there, listening to the woman who called me low vibration, beg for my low vibration money. I asked, "You want my help?" "Yes, please, I'll do anything." I looked at the empty chair across from my desk where Sarah sat every day, the woman Elena tried to destroy. "I might help you," I said, "but not because I love you. And not for free. If I do this, we do it on my terms." "Anything," she cried. "Save your tears for the judge, Elena," I said. "I'll come visit you tomorrow. Wear orange. It matches your aura."
The plea and the truth. Orange is the new beige. The waiting room. There is no Instagram filter for federal prison lighting. It's a harsh, buzzing fluorescent white that exposes everything. I sat in the visitation room of the Federal Detention Center. I was wearing my work clothes, jeans, boots, and a flannel shirt. I didn't dress up for this. I wasn't here to impress anyone. Around me, families were crying, holding hands across stainless steel tables. It was heavy. It was real. It was the lowest vibration place on Earth, and Elena was living in it. I checked my watch. I had a meeting with the city council about a new recycling initiative in 2 hours. I was a busy man.
"Advance!" a guard shouted. The heavy metal door buzzed open. The visual shock. I've seen Elena at her best. I've seen her in gala gowns, in designer bikinis, and in business casual suits she couldn't afford. I was not prepared for this. Elena shuffled in wearing a bright orange jumpsuit that was 3 sizes too big. Her hair, usually blown out to perfection, was pulled back in a messy, greasy knot. Her roots were showing. Her skin looked gray. She sat down across from me. She smelled like industrial disinfectant and fear. She looked at me and her lip quivered. "Jack." She reached for my hand, but the guard stepped forward. "No contact," the guard barked. Elena pulled her hand back, wincing like she'd been slapped. "You came," she said, tears spilling over. "I knew you would. You're the only one who cares. My friends from the gala, they blocked me. Even my yoga instructor blocked me." "I'm here, Elena," I said, keeping my voice flat. "I brought you some money for the commissary, so you can buy whatever it is you buy in here. Toothpaste, I guess." "I need more than toothpaste, Jack," she hissed, leaning in. "I need a lawyer. The public defender they gave me is a joke. He told me to plead guilty immediately, to get 10 years instead of 15. 10 years? I'll be 36 when I get out. My youth will be gone." The victim card. I looked at her. "You committed bank fraud, Elena. 10 years sounds about right." "I didn't do it." She slammed her hand on the table. The guard glared at her. She lowered her voice. "It was Julian. He manipulated me. He told me those documents were just energy exchanges. I didn't read the fine print." "You were the CFO," I reminded her. "You went on live video and bragged about being the captain of the ship. You fired Sarah, the only person who tried to save you, because she wouldn't sign those papers. And then you signed them." "I was under a spell," he pleaded. "Jack, you know me. I'm not a criminal. I have big dreams. Is it a crime to want to be successful?" "It is when you steal money to do it." She started crying again. Not the pretty, single tear crying she used to do to get her way. This was ugly, snotty, desperate crying. "Please, Jack, I know you have the money. I know your business is doing well. Sarah posted a picture of you guys signing a contract with the city. I saw it before they took my phone." "Sarah is doing great," I said coldly. "She's a fantastic operations manager. She actually reads the contracts she signs." The offer. I took a deep breath. This was the moment. "I spoke to a lawyer this morning, Elena." Her head snapped up. Her eyes went wide with hope. "Oh my God, yes! His name is Arthur Kane. He's the nastiest, most aggressive shark in the state. He specializes in white-collar crime. He thinks he can argue that you were mentally coerced and that you lacked the technical capacity to understand the fraud. He thinks he can get you a plea deal for probation and restitution, no prison time." Elena let out a sob of relief. "Oh my God, yes, get him, please." "He wants a $50,000 retainer, up front, non-refundable." Elena's face fell. "I don't have $50, Jack. Julian took everything." "I know. I'm willing to pay it." She looked at me like an angel. You would do that? After everything?" "I would. But it's a business transaction, Elena, and every transaction has terms." "Terms? Anything. I'll pay you back. When I get out, I'll get a job. "I don't want your money," I interrupted. "You'll never be able to pay me back anyway. Here is the price." I pulled a piece of paper and a pen from my pocket and slid it across the steel table. "The condition." "Terms? Anything. I'll pay you back. When I get out, I'll get a job. "I don't want your money," I interrupted. "You'll never be able to pay me back anyway. Here is the price." I pulled a piece of paper and a pen from my pocket and slid it across the steel table. "You are going to write a public statement right now. I'm going to take a picture of it and post it on your social media accounts." "A statement saying what?" she asked, wary. 3 things, I listed, holding up my fingers. 1, you admit that Julian Thorne ran a Ponzi scheme and you were a willing accomplice until the money ran out. "Okay," she nodded. 2,
You admit that you have zero qualifications to be a CFO and that you signed legal documents without reading them because you were obsessed with status. She winced. That one hurt her ego. Jack, that's embarrassing. Prison is embarrassing, Elena. Write it. In 3, I said, leaning forward. This is the most important one. You will write a specific apology to Sarah. You will admit that you lied about her on the live stream. You will admit that she was honest and you fired her to cover up the fraud. You will clear her name completely so she never has a shadow over her career again. Elena stared at the paper. Sarah? You're doing this for Sarah? Write the Lanner, Elena, or enjoy the public defender and the cafeteria food for the next decade. The writing on the wall. She picked up the pen. Her hand was shaking. She wrote. It took her 10 minutes. She cried the whole time. It was the first honest thing she had done in 6 months. When she finished, she slid the paper back to me. I read it. It was pathetic, desperate, and perfect. I, Elena Vance, admit that I lied about Sarah. She is innocent. I was blinded by greed. Good, I said, folding the paper and putting it in my pocket. I'll wire the money to Mr. Kane within the hour. He'll be here by tomorrow morning. I stood up to leave. The delusion returns. Jack, wait, she called out. I stopped. When this is over, she stammered, looking up at me with those big, teary eyes. When I get probation, maybe we can get coffee? I've realized a lot of things in here. I realized that high vibration doesn't keep you warm at night. I miss you. I miss us. She actually thought there was a chance. She thought $50,000 was a gesture of love, not pity. I looked at her. I looked at the orange jumpsuit. I looked at the woman who told me I smelled like 3D reality. Elena, I said gently, you said I was an anchor. You're right. I'm grounded. I'm happy where I am. But I can change, she begged. I can be grounded too. I know, but I have a new rule for my life. What rule? I handle waste for a living, Elena. I deal with garbage all day, but when I punch out, I don't bring it home with me. Her face crumbled. She finally understood. Goodbye, Elena. I tapped on the door. The guard buzzed me out. I walked out of the prison and into the fresh air. I pulled out my phone, snapped a photo of her confession letter, and hit send to Sarah with a caption. Case closed. Dinner tonight? My treat.
The viral verdict and the end of the Queen. The digital bomb. The morning after, I visited the prison. I walked into the office and handed Sarah the letter. It was handwritten on yellow legal pad paper. It was stained with tears. Sarah read it in silence. Her hands trembled slightly. She actually wrote it, Sarah whispered. She cleared me, explicitly. She didn't have a choice, I said. But yes, it's done. We didn't just post it on Elena's social media accounts, which her new lawyer had recovered. We went nuclear. We sent copies to the local news station that had aired the footage of Elena being arrested. We sent it to the business blogs that had destroyed Sarah's reputation. The reaction was instant. The internet loves a villain, but it loves a redemption arc even more. Within 4 hours, the narrative flipped. Sarah went from disgruntled employee to the whistleblower hero who tried to stop the scam. And the influencers? The quantum kings and manifestation babes who used to comment "Yas Queen" on Elena's photos. It was hilarious to watch them. They were deleting their photos with her faster than Julian deleted his browser history. They posted long, sad captions about betrayal and how hard it is to trust people these days. Hypocrites, all of them. The sharks show. 3 months later, the day of reckoning arrived. The federal courthouse is a cold, imposing building. I sat in the back row with Sarah. Elena sat at the defense table. She wasn't wearing orange today.
She was wearing a modest gray suit that looked like it came from a discount rack. She looked small. Arthur Kane, the lawyer I paid $50,000 for, was worth every penny. He didn't try to argue she was innocent. He argued she was an idiot. "Your Honor," Kane boomed, pacing the floor like a predator. "Elena Vance is not a mastermind. She is a victim of a cult of personality. She was groomed, manipulated, and blinded by a narcissist who used her signature as a shield while he fled with the millions. She has cooperated fully. She has surrendered her dignity. Do not send a foolish girl to prison for the crimes of a fugitive man." The judge was stern. He looked at Elena over his glasses. "Ms. Vance, your negligence was criminal. You wanted the title without the responsibility." Elena sobbed quietly. "However," the judge continued, "due to your cooperation and lack of prior history..." The viral verdict and the end of the Queen. The digital bomb. The morning after my visit to the prison, I walked into the office and handed Sarah the letter. It was handwritten on yellow legal pad paper. It was stained with tears. Sarah read it in silence. Her hands trembled slightly. "She actually wrote it. She cleared me, explicitly," Sarah whispered. "She didn't have a choice, but yes, it's done." We didn't just post it on Elena's social media accounts, which her new lawyer had recovered. We went nuclear. We sent copies to the local news station that had aired the footage of Elena being arrested. We sent it to the business blogs that had destroyed Sarah's reputation. The reaction was instant. The internet loves a villain, but it loves a redemption arc even more. Within 4 hours, the narrative flipped. Sarah went from disgruntled employee to the whistleblower hero who tried to stop the scam. And the influencers? The quantum kings and manifestation babes who used to comment "Yas Queen" on Elena's photos? It was hilarious to watch. They were deleting their photos with her faster than Julian deleted his browser history. They posted long, sad captions about betrayal and how hard it is to trust people these days. Hypocrites. All of them. The Sharks Show. 3 months later, the day of reckoning arrived. The federal courthouse is a cold, imposing building. I sat in the back row with Sarah. Elena sat at the defense table. She wasn't wearing orange today. She was wearing a modest gray suit that looked like it came from a discount rack. She looked small. Arthur Kane, the lawyer I paid $50,000 for, was worth every penny. He didn't try to argue she was innocent. He argued she was an idiot. "Your Honor, Elena Vance is not a mastermind. She's a victim of a cult of personality. She was groomed, manipulated, and blinded by a narcissist who used her signature as a shield while he fled with the millions. She has cooperated fully. She has surrendered her dignity. Do not send a foolish girl to prison for the crimes of a fugitive man." The judge was stern. He looked at Elena over his glasses. "Miss Vance, your negligence was criminal. You wanted the title without the responsibility." Elena sobbed quietly. "However," the judge continued, "due to your cooperation and lack of prior history..." The sentence. Prison time, 0 years. Suspended sentence. Probation, 5 years. Supervised, strict travel restrictions. Community service, 2,000 hours. Restitution, $500,000. Ban, a permanent prohibition from serving as an officer or director of any public or private company. She was free, but she was ruined. She would be paying off that $500,000 for the rest of her life on a minimum wage salary. Her queen bee days were officially over. The parking lot. We didn't stay to talk to the lawyers. Sarah and I walked out to the parking lot.
The sun was setting. I had brought the Jaguar E-Type again. It felt appropriate to close the loop. We were leaning against the car, putting on our sunglasses, when the side door of the courthouse opened. Elena walked out. There were no paparazzi, no fans, no Julian. Just her parents, looking old and ashamed, waiting in a rusted sedan. Elena looked up and saw us. She froze. For a moment, I saw a flash of the old Elena. She took a step toward us, her mouth opened, maybe to say thank you, maybe to say sorry, maybe to ask for that coffee she hallucinated about in prison. I didn't move. I didn't smile. I simply opened the passenger door for Sarah. Sarah paused. She looked at Elena. There was no anger in her eyes anymore, just pity. Sarah gave her a small, sad nod, a final goodbye, and got into the car. I walked around to the driver's side, slid in, and fired up the engine. As we pulled away, I looked in the rearview mirror. Elena was left standing on the curb, alone in the exhaust fumes of the life she could have had. News from the South. Later that night, my phone buzzed. It was a contact I had in private security who had been tracking the Julian situation for me. He sent me a link to a news article from a local paper in Panama. Translated headline, American tourist hospitalized after altercation in casino. Apparently, Julian hadn't been arrested by the FBI. Fate had something crueler in store. He had tried to sell his quantum crypto strategy to some local businessmen who didn't appreciate losing money. When Julian couldn't pay them back, let's just say they collected the debt physically. The report said he was in critical condition, minus a few teeth, and his passport was missing. I showed the phone to Sarah. I said, he wanted to escape reality. Looks like the universe gave him exactly what he asked for, a total break from it. The new office. We went back to the Red Clay headquarters. Sarah walked into her new office. It wasn't glass and chrome like Julian's. It was brick, solid oak, and filled with real work. The door plaque read, Sarah Miller, CFO. I walked in behind her with a bottle of champagne. It wasn't the $5,000 bottle Julian ordered. It was a $40 bottle. But it was cold, and we owned it. We popped the cork and poured 2 glasses. To justice, Sarah said, clinking her glasses against mine. To taking out the trash, I replied. We drank. The silence in the room wasn't heavy anymore. It was electric. I set my glass down on her desk and looked at her. Really looked at her. You know, I said, leaning against the doorframe, now that the ex-girlfriend is on probation and the guru is in a Panamanian ICU, now that all of the drama is finally over, I need to tell HR to resume interviews for that special position. Sarah raised her eyebrow, a playful smile touching her lips. What position? I thought we filled all the vacancies. I stepped closer. I have an opening for a life partner, but I have to warn you about the requirements. The candidate has to be okay with long hours, terrible dad jokes, and most importantly, I brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. She has to like the smell of diesel. Sarah laughed. She grabbed my tie and pulled me in. I love the smell of diesel, she whispered. And then she kissed me. And let me tell you, that kiss was the highest vibration I've ever felt in my life.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the saga. The trash man got the girl, the scammer got the streets, and the queen got community service. If you stuck around for this whole ride, you are a legend. Don't forget to subscribe, and always remember, if your partner tells you your job lowers their frequency, do yourself a favor, let them ascend alone.